Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in our Power Parenting session. This particular discussion is going to be regarding teens and how to start conversations regarding their emotions. It's important for us to ask the question. And so I wanted to, seeing that we are at the start of the school year for many who have just started and those who will be starting soon, I think these particular questions will help us as parents because power stands for parents overcoming through or with wisdom, education, and resources. And so we share wisdom with each other because there are things that all of us have encountered that will help us gain from each other. That's why we ask people to place comments. Something that you share may help another parent. There's no cookie cutter to this process. We're all learning, we're evolving, whether we have one child, two children, three children, four children, and so on and so forth. Each child is different, and we're learning and gaining each time that we raise our children, even based upon their personality. And so it's important for us to stay engaged in the process and gain our personal power as parents through those educational means and those resources and wisdom sharing among each other. So thank you for joining us for this particular segment regarding teen emotional awareness conversation starters. I do want to give a shout out and credit to On Our Sleeves. It's a movement for children's mental health. You can check them out. They have a lot of these questions that I begin to ponder as well as utilize because I still have a teen at the house and I want to utilize some of these tools as well. So as I'm speaking with you and putting more resources in my toolbox, I also want to share that as well. So these are just a few questions we're going to go through, and hopefully you can utilize these with your team. One that I have probably emphasized probably more than once, and I'm going to continue to emphasize it when I work with teens here at Olive Tree Resources, because I am the lead training partner here and counseling specialist here at Olive Tree Resources. We focus on teen counseling, marriage counseling, family counseling. But in this particular context of this parent power parenting, we're focusing on teenagers. And that can range between the ages of 12, preteen age, to about 17. So we're looking at middle school and high school age students, and we want to help them navigate adolescence. And one question that I repeatedly bring up to parents is ask your child, how can I support you? How can I support you? And I'm going to put that on here on the screen because I want that to sink in for us. Um, that's going to be a big one. If we can just ask our teens, how can I support you? And I know someone's thinking this like, hey, I've asked that in some shape, form, or fashion to my child. And their answer is, I don't know. Guess what? That answer is giving you a great indicator. Don't get frustrated, mom. Don't get frustrated, dad. Don't get frustrated, guardian, grandma, aunt, uncle. Don't get frustrated when they say, I don't know. That is an excellent answer. And you may be wondering, now, April, why are you saying that? That is not an excellent answer. That makes me frustrated even more because I don't know what to do. The reason that question and that question number one is loaded. That's number one, it's loaded. Many of us as adults can't answer that question. I've asked adults that question and they tell me, I don't know. So how much more for a 13, 14, 15-year old, you asking that question? It is a loaded question. But when they give you the answer, I don't know, the reason why that answer is so key, it gives you some kind of indicators. You know, it doesn't put forth red flags for you. It should give you some caution signs. It should light and blink yellow lights for you when you hear that. I don't know. So you should take note on that. You shouldn't try to address it in the moment. Tell them thank you. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to figure it out. And then that allows you as a parent to make note of the thing that maybe you're trying to help them navigate And then, that's an area where we have to expose, we have to find avenues to then allow them to explore what that answer is, or begin to have aha moments of, that's what it is. I didn't really know, but because I talked to this person. It could be you scheduling them an appointment with a professional. um, because I say this also as parents: be okay with your child not always sharing with you. They're at that stage of separation, self identity, and exploration for themselves. Be okay with that. Do not take it personal. Do not self sabotage yourself nor your relationship with your child or their development by thinking, oh, I'm not a good parent, or what's wrong? My baby doesn't talk to me anymore. Well, one reason they are starting to change that whole dynamic is because they're no longer your baby. Go back and watch that series again. I always tell people to watch that series. Listen, your teen is no longer your baby. Now, you can keep that as your affection and your comfort for them. But guess what? They are evolving and changing. So don't stop that process for them. Let them begin to mature um, as they are going to do naturally, period. But we also want to find resources. So when they say, I don't know, take note of that. Thank them for that response. Don't blow it off. Don't allow that response to make you overreact to where you may respond to them in a manner in which it does cause them to shrink in. They no longer want to respond. Even if they know exactly what they want their response to be, they shut down because they recognize that if they don't give you an answer that you're looking for, that they're going to receive some type of backlash. So be very careful about that. If they say, I don't know, you can very politely, and you can respond how you want, parents, but this is just something that I'm sharing so you can think about it and deal with your child accordingly. You may say, thank you for that response. We're going to work on it. We're going to work through this because we want to make sure that you're okay. We want to make sure that you know what is bothering you or things that you need to deal with. So here's a couple other questions that you may want to put in your toolbox to help your child. I've noticed you seem blank. And then you can just go into what the response is. You kind of hang out in your room. You don't talk to your friends as much. Your grades are decreasing. Like, give note to the emotion. So that's the blank. I've noticed. And the reason you want to start with that is because you want them to know that you are engaged with them. You are recognizing their responses. You're really concerned. Um, and then point out that emotion. So we're talking about ways, conversation starters for emotional awareness. So you say, I noticed you seem blank, whether it's sad, you seem distant, you seem, not engaged or interested in certain things lately. And then give the example for them. You've been in your room, or you haven't talked to your friend that I know that you typically talk to, your grades, or whatever the result is, also give them that. Then you can follow that acknowledgement up with, is there something bothering you? Conversation starters. These are conversation starters. So that's something you want. Is there something bothering you? And give them an opportunity to think about it. The power of the pause. I want to put that in there so that can sink in for us. Power of the pause. It's okay to pause. Sometimes we won't answer right now, right now. You better hurry up. What's wrong with you? You're not talking, chop chop. You're not talking quick enough. What is the matter? And then that frustration does not help the conversation. That is a conversation shut down as soon. And it doesn't have to be a teen. We know that happens with adults. So sometimes when we're talking to our teens, let's see them as ourselves. How would I want my parent to interact with me? How did I want to be treated or responded to when I was their age? And I guarantee you, when you take that lens and approach, your actions begin to shape and form themselves in a different way. Because I don't think I would have any parent, and please contact me, put it in the comments, if you as a teen wanted your parents to like yell at you, wanted your parents to um, in haste respond, even when you were taking a moment to think it through? Tell me if that's something you loved. I want to talk to you, because that will be, we might need to do a tag team discussion for our power parenting sessions if that's you, because that's an interesting dynamic. But nobody, I would feel safe saying nobody really wanted that or welcomed that. Did we encounter it? Sure. But did we want that? No. So we want to try to respond and deal with them in the manner in which, let's be who we felt like we needed for them, and ask that question. Is there something bothering you? Give them an opportunity, a chance to think about it, a chance to share, and then be also okay with telling them, if I can't help you with this particular thing that's bothering you, would you like for me to seek, someone you can go talk to that you will feel comfortable sharing with? Because the whole goal is to make sure that you're not bottling things in and that you are not addressing your emotions. We need you to be emotionally aware and not shut down. Here's another question. What do you think is important for me to learn about what you're going through? And I'm going to say that again. What do you think is important for me to learn about what you're going through? And again, because these questions are loaded, give them time to think about it. You may tell them, "Hey, you don't have to tell me right now. Think about it. Or let me write it down for you so you can remember it. Help me learn what you feel like I need to know to help you in this situation about what you're going through at the moment." It could be them dealing with peer pressure, friendship conflicts, school dynamics of fitting in. What group do they fit in? All of those things. And then how can I help you, and what can I learn from this to support you in this situation? Here's another question. Have you been having thoughts of not wanting to be here, or potentially harming yourself? Sometimes that's an uncomfortable one, but if you feel, based upon your awareness of what your child may be kind of encountering, maybe comments that they're making, you have to ask the question. Because sometimes all someone is doing is waiting for you to ask the question. And sometimes those are uncomfortable questions we don't want to ask. And therefore, that's when our teens get to levels that we don't want them to get to in regards to harming themselves or feeling like, why am I here? Should I be here? I'm going to throw a side note in here as well. Just a little promo for Our True Resources. Every month, we do have, I believe it's the third Thursday of every month, there's a group session entitled Suicide is Not an Option. And that group is for teens who are having thoughts of, why am I here? What is the point? I don't want to be alive. All of those questions that come, sometimes unwelcomed to all of us, then that allows them to come to a safe place, explore where the root of those things are coming from, so that we can get them in a better mental health state in regards to their life, their purpose, their destiny, their future. So parents, please recognize that that is an option available. How we do it is that you just register online for that session, and then we contact the parent of those teens. We make sure that the group is very strategically put together, so that it is a safe space. And if for some reason, after the conversation with the parent, that it needs to be a one-on-one, or their child does not feel comfortable being in the midst of a group, we can allow a one-on-one session to work through those particular emotional ebbs and flows there. So remember that and reach out to us. Here's another one. Another conversation starter question. I'm worried about you recently. Is there something going on I can support you with? So there's that question coming back up. I'll put it back up on the screen. How can I support you? Okay. So I'm worried about you. Let them know that you feel their concern. And I'm going to add this for parents. We don't sometimes realize this, but sometimes the reason our child does not come to us is because they don't want to worry us. And we don't realize that our body language, our conversations that they're overhearing, because they listen in on everything, radar ears. And we may think that it's just innocent conversation we're maybe having with our significant other or with a friend on the phone, and they're listening. And you may be saying, oh, it's just been a rough month. they work is so much pressure, and I don't know how I'm gonna pay the bills, and then all that stuff, they're taking it in, and they're thinking, I don't want to give my mom or dad another problem. I don't want to give my mom and dad another item that's going to weigh them down or make them feel pressured or make them feel stressed. So I'm going to just hold it in. They try to protect us as much as we are trying to protect them. They're trying to protect us. So that's why the conversation starter is important for you to acknowledge. I'm concerned about you. I'm worried about you, or I'm thinking of you. So you have to know even which word to use according to the temperament of your child. That's a whole nother thing. We offer temperament assessments here at Olive Tree Resources. I'm giving a couple plugs for us because there are resources that we have available to help parents maintain and strengthen their personal power, to help their child grow healthy. That personality assessment is important because then it tells you how to talk to your child based upon their personality and temperament. That's important. People don't think that works. It does work, and it matters. How you're speaking to them, what words do you strategically use? Now, I'll give you a good example. A child who is a blue, which is your more emotional, loyal based, relational based child, you may not want to use wary because then that makes them wary. So you may want to use a word thinking. I have been thinking about you lately, or you've been on my mind. They want to feel the emotion. They want to know that you're invested in them. Using a word like worried for that particular child makes them a little more anxious because they're like, oh, I did add another stressor. That's why I didn't say anything, because I was protecting my parent. But now my parent, in innocence and in all sincerity, coming saying, I'm worried about you. That adds more stress to that particular child. Your child that may be an orange, which is the vibrant, go getter, risk taker, I just got to go get it done type of personality child. Being wary, using that word, may work well for them because it makes them stop in their tracks because they're always on the go and they have no worries. And even when you are aware of it and you bring it up as a parent, it may make them pause to say, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. My parents said they're worried about me. So let me begin to think and really answer this question in a thoughtful way, opposed to brushing it off. So word choice is important when you're thinking about personality and temperament of your child. So you can also go on our website and register to take the personality assessment, and that will help you as well as your child when you're dealing with them. Here's another question. Sometimes it's hard for you to focus. Do you think it's because there's a lot of thoughts in your head? Pause. Are there a lot of thoughts in your head right now? Is a lot of things that you're thinking about? Can you list those things? Let's write them down. Let's sit down right now. Tell me what they are. One, two, three. Okay. What are you thinking about? You're trying to pull it out of them. What are the things that are on your mind? And once they're sharing that with you, go ahead and jot it down. It's good to jot it down. And then that gives you good insight as a parent so that then you can find the resources that can assist unraveling those thoughts that are constantly in your child's head. So that's a good question to ask, especially for back to a temperament understanding of that, especially for a child who is a green, who is your thinker. They're very analytical. They want to know the why. They're always trying to figure out from the most minute thing to mega. They're wondering, boom, boom, boom. What is that whole process from beginning to end? And why does it work that way? And so they're always going to have thoughts on their mind. So with you asking that question, you're helping them to be emotionally aware that they are spinning their wheels. And until we outline one by one what those things are and then how we can push those through, they're going to constantly keep having that spinning wheel in their head. And so you're assisting them in that process. So that's a great question to help your teen to be emotionally aware and a conversation starter for them. Um, Here is a great one. Your mental health is important. Say that to your child. Your mental health is important. How have you been feeling? Let's talk about it. Let's sit down and give concentrated time to sit down for these. Don't do fly by night conversations. You all are getting dressed. You're rushing for work. They're rushing for school. Everybody's running semi late and you just fly by asking. No, we have wonderful conversations in the car. That's like, especially if you got a 20-30 minute drive from opposite sides of town or something. That's a great time to start a conversation. Use the car as a great conversation starter for you and your child. So that's a good one. Your mental health is important. Tell them that it's important. First of all, you recognize as a parent that it's important for us as adults, that we're taking that serious, especially in the society that we live in now that is very high paced and bombarded at every hand and every turn with information. Our mental health is important. So ask them, how have you been feeling? Ask them that question. How have you been feeling? Here is another one. Is there something you would want to change about your life right now? Pause. The power of the pause. That is another loaded question. Pause. Let them think about it. Give them time to sometimes even confront and face some things that are difficult for them to face and probably even say to you. And if you recognize that they're hesitant in saying it to you, that's when you offer them assistance. Hey, if you don't feel comfortable saying it to me, can I schedule you an opportunity to speak with someone who you would feel comfortable with sharing that? Because that's important to me right now, that you are able to articulate, express, let out how you are feeling right now about your life. Now, the old school model is, oh, you're young, you're a teenager, you don't have a life. You don't have anything to worry about. What, I pay all the bills. That's those are things I heard. So you don't have stress. You don't have things in your life that you want changed. That is so not true. So now that we know better, let's do better. And so we're thankful for our parents and the things that they taught us from the information that they had. And that's why we're gaining more power because of their bravery and them pressing through probably some hard obstacles. We now are in a better space to give ourselves more power. And then our children are going to have more power, meaning they're going to be able to overcome with more wisdom, more education, and more resources. This question is a repeat, actually, so we'll end on this one. I just want to give a few. You can always reach out to us, and we will be happy to assist along the way because our goal is to make sure that no teen is unserved. We turn no teen away, period. We're going to do our best to make sure that they are having outlets that are needed for them, that they're able to sit down and have conversations and be emotionally aware and to have healthy mental discourse, mental outline of things that come to bombard them, like that question stated, that there's a lot on your mind, that they're able to successfully hash out those things, decompartmentalize those things for themselves so that as they're moving into young adulthood, they're going to be well equipped and prepared. That is our goal. But this last question is actually similar to my first one, so we'll end on it. It says, what can I do to support you during this difficult time? So this is just adding an extension to that. How can I support you? This one is saying during this difficult time. So that's when you know that your child may be dealing with something. They've already expressed that something's difficult, or even if they haven't expressed it and you just know, for example, the loss of a loved one, you know that is a difficult time. The transition of a very important friendship, you know that that's a difficult time. Maybe the result of a bad grade after studying for hours and thinking that they were going to do well, you know that that's a difficult time. So you may present that latter phrase to that question, just acknowledging to them that I know this is hard. How can I support you right now through this hard decision? They just got cut from the volleyball team. They just got cut from the basketball team. They just got cut from the track team. They just got cut from the soccer team. And they were excited. And they were ready to play. And they worked hard. And they just didn't make the cut. then that's how you begin to intro that question. How can I support you through this difficult time? I know you wanted to make the team. I know that this was important to you. How can I support you? Can we look into other avenues outside of the school team to gain experience and for you to really do something that you enjoyed and have the camaraderie of teammates? Let's look into that. Let's see what we can do. And then making them feel better and making them be aware and own that hurt. They need to say that hurt. I was ready to make that team. And when I saw my name on that list of those who didn't make it, yeah, that was hurtful. And let them have that moment as well, of grieving for them for that situation, and let them know it's okay. And then say, well, I'm going to help you because I'm going to hold you accountable to not allowing it to stretch too long. Well, a couple days, yeah, you have to take it in and just know that it hurt. But if you letting them go 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they're still sad about it, we don't want to do that. Make sure they get professional assistance, that they're not seeking into some levels of depression and allowing themselves to go into a very negative space. So let's continue to take our power as parents. Let's continue to overcome. We know that our teens are going through difficult times, things that we didn't have to encounter, they are now encountering. Let's not downplay that, and let's help them. Now, they have the tools. They were born for the time and the generation in which they were needed. I believe they are equipped and they have everything. They have the resiliency that they need for the time frame that they have been born into. We just have to embrace them. We have to empower them, and we have to elevate them. And that is our goal here at Ultra Resources. And we are always excited to partner with parents to do that, with their families, with their children, as we all are growing and changing during this process. So thank you for your time. Continue to be encouraged. Thank you for what you do as a parent. Thank you for being a wonderful parent. Thank you for taking time to even watch this video to gain some questions. Hopefully you jotted those questions down and you're going to use them as a tool. What we'll do also, I'll try to type these up as well and just put them on our website as a print off. The parents can just kind of print the sheet off as well. So thank you. Until next time, we'll talk to you, and keep hope. See, right behind me. Oh, Jessica, keep it's hope. I'm hopeful for this generation. I hope you are too. God bless.